2025, what a year this has been for video games. We had a brand new console release, we had new entries in beloved series, and some franchises even brought back from the brink of death. Wow, this has really been a great year. And as I sit here staring down at the year that has now passed after playing all these fantastic video games, my only thought is... man, am I hungry! I could really go for a pizza right now! How about a deal? For every game you played in 2025, you could pick between playing it again or having a pizza instead. So what will it be? What will you choose? Replaying these games, jumping back into their multiplayer modes, or experiencing their stories once more, maybe recommending them for others? Or leave them be as they were never meant to be played again. Games not worthy of your earthly attention when compared to the masterful craft behind a well-built orbit of freshly picked tomatoes, cheese, and the crunchiest, most scrumptious dough that Discontinuance could ever hope to produce. So go, begin your escapade around the world of video games and decide the fate of some of 2025's most infamous and some of its most beloved games. I was looking for an excuse to never play Welcome Tour again. Count me in! So we'll be going through these games in order of when I played them, from earliest to latest title in the year. I will also only be including titles I actually beat, so if I started but didn't finish a game, it won't be here. Games in which I acquired 100% completion will be displayed alongside this awesome gamer badge of awesomeness that proves I had way too much time to waste. Starting with a game I began playing in December of 2024 and finished just in time for the old year's New Year's, Animal Well. Oh boy, starting with a cancel-worthy opinion already. Animal Well is a fantastically unique game. It's a game built to be figured out by a community of dedicated players. Its most advanced puzzles take advantage of interactions between the real world and in-game objects, and it's overall one of the best experiences one could have when we're talking puzzle games. But its uniqueness is also its biggest weakness when it comes to replayability. I came in late to the Animal Well trend, having played it only this year and having achieved the game's most basic ending. I feel like I got what I wanted out of that experience, and to go beyond this point would require me to engage with the game in a way that in my opinion simply isn't as much fun nowadays as it could have been when the game was new. And trying to figure this game out all on my own is unfortunately way beyond what I would be capable or realistically willing to do. It's one of the best games ever designed, and I don't ever want to play it again. I'm taking the pizza. The second game I beat this year is a little 2-hour-long experience called Sheepy: A Short Adventure. It's a free little indie game you can get right now on Steam, and I totally recommend you check it out. It is a 2D platformer with a surprisingly interesting story, and it plays better than its diminutive title would imply it has any right to. I also can't say much more on it without spoiling the whole thing. It really is a short adventure, and one that, if you're a fan of 2D platformers, is most definitely worth your time. It's an appetizer to the main course. You just often don't have an appetizer before a pizza, do you? So I guess this one's here to stay. Above Animal Well. I am a human capable of conscious thought, and I decided on these placements myself. Dredge was a game I didn't expect to hook me in the way that it did. I have to be honest here, me playing this game this year was a stroke of luck. It was the only game this year that I played through the infamous Epic Games store. That's right, they gave it for free at some point and I now had access to it in my library. Saying I went into Dredge completely blind would be a bit misleading. I had already heard great things from the game, and I knew people thought the story of the title was a very high point of the experience, but I knew nothing apart from that. I'll be honest, I thought the game was structured more like a roguelite initially, and that's part of why I booted it up in the first place. The little I had seen of gameplay for this title, with your boat going out into the ocean and having to return at night to sell fish and get upgrades, just kinda sounded similar to what you'd expect from run-based titles. Dredge was most definitely not that. The game's atmosphere was borderline enchanting, going out into the ocean on your little fishing vessel, collecting sunken treasure and slowly piecing together a melancholic picture of the world around you as you start to notice these anomalies are happening around you. Okay, I need to stop myself right there. If you haven't played Dredge and this style of gameplay and storytelling sounds in any way appealing to you, you'd best go in blind. Bit of a trend so far with this list, isn't there? Just games that I can't really talk about too much without risking ruining the experience for others. Well, first of all, you can stay right here beside Sheepy, and Animal Well, don't worry, we're getting you some company soon because the next game breaks that trend. It is a game not played for its narrative. In fact, it barely even has a narrative at all. I despise what they did to Monster Hunter Wilds. Wilds was my introduction to the Monster Hunter series. I even made a video on it back when it dropped, and it was overall a positive take I had on the game. I thought for sure that the problems I had with this game would extend only as far as its widely reported, dreadful performance issues on PC. Issues that I believed would be solved within a month or two of launch given their severity. Well, not only has Capcom not fixed the performance issues that this game suffers from on PC, after that initial impressions video, I went on to experience this game's late game content, and wow! It runs dry pretty fast after you roll credits. Grinding monster parts for armor pieces just isn't all too fun when you have a big bird thing that does most of the work for you. The game ends up feeling like more of a button masher than anything else, and one that looks and runs pretty rough while doing so. Capcom, I love you, but I'm taking the pizza on this one. What is there to say about the legend itself, Clair Obscur Expedition 33? You're probably tired of hearing about it by now, and if you watch the Game Awards, you may even resent its existence a little bit, but it cannot be denied. This game is an industry legend. What it does supremely well. This was the most I've ever been invested into a turn-based RPG game. The combat is fast and fluid, it captures the satisfying essence of combat systems like the Soulsborne formula from FromSoft with perfectly timed parries and dodges, while still maintaining all of those strategical aspects from the classic turn-based RPG genre. Gameplay-wise, this title is a masterpiece, and that would have been enough on its own, but they went and done it. One of the best soundtracks of the year, the best story I've experienced in a video game. Before this title, I think I would have given that honor to Red Dead Redemption 2. But Expedition 33 is the only game in recent memory that made me cry because of its story. Multiple times, at multiple different points. I'm weak to this game, and so was everyone else in 2025. If you haven't played it and are feeling a bit burnt out on its overexposure, wait out the hype a bit, but do yourself a favor and try out Clair Obscur. As far as this list goes, the award goes to it. No pizza in the world would suffice. Yeah, alright. Yeah, get out of here. Yeah. Now that the kids had their fun, it's time for the true gamer's RPG to be crowned better than a poultry pizza. Deltarune Chapters 1 through 4. I debated including this one because I know it's technically not a complete game yet, but I don't feel like waiting until 2030 for Toby Fox to finish it before talking about it. So, it's here now. Toby Fox has undoubtedly gotten a lot better at game design since Undertale. Not to diss Undertale, that's also a fantastic game on its own right, but it was with chapters 3 and 4 of Deltarune that this game solidified itself in my head as not only a worthy follow-up, but one that far exceeds its predecessor. The character arcs on display here are marvelous, the sheer ingenuity of gameplay fantastical, the art direction is great too, and the story is finally starting to pick up big time. Deltarune, I doubted you all those years ago, but damn it, I'm convinced now. This game is most definitely worth your time. What is time but another metric to which we could lose our minds to? What? Are you okay? This year, I decided that being mentally stable just wasn't fun enough. In 2025, I need to experience what the edges of human consciousness have to offer on Ina Dream Barbecue. If you're not familiar with Ina, neither was I when I was cast into this world by a friend at college who told me, "So there's this game, it's kinda wacky and it makes no sense and don't try to understand it, but like, you're this girl and you go through doors to alternate dimensions or something and there's this boss guy who looks like a frog and..." Say no more! I'm sold! I gotta check out this game for myself here! Yeah, that sure was an experience. Would I recommend you play this? Yeah, absolutely! Do I want to play it again? I don't know. Will my life ever be the same after this? I might just take the slice. Okay, I guess this will have to do then. Halfway through the year, June is now upon us, and with itself it brings the gift of a new console generation. What wonderful experience did I pick to have as my first foray into this next-gen console, a Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour, which I 100%ed, and there's a video on that too if you fancy a bit of suffering. If this was a free game, I would have been willing to see the value on display here more, because as a certified Nintendo fan, I find it interesting to learn some behind the scenes about the hardware. There's some genuinely cool tidbits inside of this game, and they also charge you $10 for it. And the minigames here have no staying power at all. This is a glorified tutorial manual for your console through and through, and it plays more like taking an SAT test on Nintendo history than an actual video game. And for the audacity to charge for this alone, it unfortunately cannot stand a chance against the cheesy goodness of a freshly baked pizza. Alright, now we're talking. Mario Kart World was the first true Nintendo Switch 2 game I played, and I did play it a lot this year. It might be the game I played the most actually, going well into the triple digits here. Mario Kart World is a divisive game in its community. Love it or hate it though, this is yet another case where there is no denying the game packs a punch. The best soundtrack collection on any Nintendo game ever made, a huge roster of characters, beautiful cartoony graphics now at high resolution on Switch 2. Nintendo made the right choice bundling the console with this thing, and while it still hasn't quite made it to the same heights that its predecessor 8 Deluxe had, with continuous updates and surprisingly for Nintendo, a seeming willingness to fix up the community's most dreaded pain points, Mario Kart World is a game that will only shine brighter with time, and I'm not missing the race for a pizza. Agent 47, what is it with the delay taking out the target as intended? And what is up with that disguise? It's a wig. No, the bastard's way too slippery, but I'm sure I'll find her somewhere. 2025 was the year I finally got around to playing Hitman World of Assassination, finished the trilogy of stealth assassination games for myself and had a blast doing so. Hitman has been one of those games that I became very familiar with through YouTube, specifically through RT Games videos completing this game's missions in wildly stupid and impractical ways. So of course I had it on my radar for a while now, and when that Steam summer sale happened and sliced the price down to a fraction of what it usually is, I knew I had to take my chances, and wow, it was definitely worth it. Now, I'm not that good at this kind of stealthy game, but finding out absurd solutions to situations that really shouldn't have happened in the first place is what makes this game so fun. And I'm still not done with it, as there is a lot more that this title can still offer me, from community-made missions to in-game challenges. This is the definitive stealth action game, and I ain't eating that pizza over it. I really am not. You totally poisoned it, didn't you? It's not for you.
Ugh, you're finally gonna learn. Picking a pizza over me, a launch title for the fastest selling system of all time. Unbelievable. Oh god, it has terrible taste. Is that garlic? So oily. Ugh.
The target has been neutralized. Great work, 47. Donkey Kong Bananza was an experience I've been dreaming of for a decade. I remember being a little kid playing Minecraft and thinking to myself, gosh, it would be so cool if every game's world was destructible like this one. The days of seeing beautiful handcrafted level design just to shoot a missile at them and see that absolutely nothing of note happens are over. Donkey Kong Bananza provided me with that sort of childish glee that I didn't think was possible anymore. As a jaded young adult scarred by the world and its sick and twisted tendencies, I was shown the light once more as the little monkey on my screen obliterated anything and everything in his path. Great soundtrack, good level designs. I prefer this game to Odyssey for sure, if I'm being completely honest, because I've always been a linear Mario appreciator at heart. There's just something about the Galaxy games and 3D World and Land that makes them so wonderfully satisfying to complete. Odyssey kind of lost that satisfying factor for repeat playthroughs, but in Donkey Kong Bonanza, most of those problems were dealt away with, as the game establishes a more linear structure to its levels while still maintaining all of the strengths from the open sandbox style of 3D platformers. And it gives you the never-before-seen, at least not to this scale, freedom to destroy anything you want in these worlds, making the experience truly your own. Bonanza, it is not even a competition. If anything, DK, I'm buying you a pizza.
Here, there, here, there. Help me! There we go. Okay.
Help! Please! Help me!
All right.
No!
Whew, we're up. That was an exhausting climb now. to just chill by the campfire and cook some marshmallows. Those can cook. I've got some scout cookies. Those can cook too. A sports drink, sure, yeah, that cooks. What else? An energy drink. I guess that cooks too. Yeah, I guess there's... Peak was snubbed at the Game Awards. I don't care what these mainstream Twitch streamers have to say. Arc who? We Tomb Raiding what now? I don't care if I didn't play Arc Raiders, I'm just gonna say it. Peak is the best multiplayer experience to come out this year, and it's not even close. This genre of co-op multiplayer game is one of the best things to happen to gaming in recent times in general. I know some call them friendslop, but that term makes absolutely no sense to me. You're just being mean for no reason. I know it's a rather big point of contention with these games, the fact that you essentially need a friend to be able to experience them well enough, multiple friends even, to get the full experience. And I know that not everyone out there has a group that they can just hit up to play with, and not everyone's willing to voice chat with randoms online, and that might not even be a good idea if you're like under the age of 18, or a girl, or you play a little poorly, or maybe you sound slightly young, just in general. Maybe don't play with randoms online. But if you do have some friends willing to try it out with you, Peak is peak multiplayer, and some of my best gaming memories came from goofing around with friends here this year. I'm sorry for cheeses, but it's time for Peak, and thank you. Super Mario 3D Land was the first game I beat on 3DS. I got a 3DS this year to take with me to college, bus rides and all that, and this was the last of the 3D Mario games that I hadn't yet played. I have now completed the gauntlet of 3D Mario platformers, and with that power I can say that 3D Land ranks like somewhere in the middle of the list. But ranking in the middle of a 3D Mario platformer list is the equivalent of being some of the best platforming action you can get anywhere in the industry. 3D Land contains a staggering amount of content for a portable 3D Mario title, with tons of worlds to go through, and an expensive post-game. This was the perfect introduction to 3DS games for me. I did most of what the game had to offer, and while I can't claim to have 100% of the thing, because that requires going through the entire game twice as Mario and Luigi, I did do all the levels and star coins, and had a blast doing so. Maybe one day I'll even now play as Luigi. Hollow Knight Silksong released this year, and I played it. It got a release date just 2 weeks after its announcement, and I played it, and it was bigger than anyone could have imagined. 3 acts, a bunch of bosses, and I not only played it, but I 100%ed a save file, and now I want to do it deathless again sometime. They already announced the DLC for next year. You bet your bottom rosary I'm playing it. This was my game of the year for 2025. Bananza and Clair Obscur came close-ish, but even those two have to feature in their own separate tiers in my mind, because Hollow Knight Silksong was a game I waited just over 20% of my time alive on this planet to play. God. The original Hollow Knight on Switch back in 2018 was one of the first games to truly hook me into indie games. After games like it and Enter the Gungeon, I started paying a lot more close attention to what independent developers were doing, and I'd say that shaped my gaming interests to this day. Any way I find to praise this game in this video won't do it justice, as to express my true feelings would require a much bigger project of its own. Just know that this is the epitome of Metroidvanias. It takes the genre to a whole new height that I now struggle to see anyone coming close to matching anytime soon. Next up is Hades 2, and I'm mixed on Hades 2. Alright, I know, 1 cancel-worthy opinion I can handle, but 2 and I'm already looking up your exact location. I get it. Look, I like roguelites, they're great. Some of my favorite games of all time are contained within the genre, stuff like Rogue Legacy, Enter the Gungeon. These are games that I can in fact get sucked into, experiences that are worth having. Hades and now Hades 2 are often hailed as the best in their genre, so it does hurt me a bit when I say that I had to slog through the first Hades game in order of achieving its true ending. After finishing those 10 runs, I was done with the game and I was satisfied with my time spent in it. Hades 2 came in at a really unfortunate moment. I was just finished with Silksong and Bananza, 2 games that made into my top 10 games of all time, and I was mere weeks from starting another sequel which I had been excited to get into since its initial early access period. So needless to say, I had a lot on my plate and I considered not getting Hades 2 on release because of it, since I was scared it would have gotten buried amidst all the other fantastic games coming out at the time. And well, that's exactly what ended up happening for me. I put around 20 hours into Hades 2, finished the run, rolled credits, but set it aside to focus on other games and, you know, real life too. So while my experience so far hasn't been too great, the game didn't captivate me to the same extent that Silksong did, not even close, it's still a fantastic roguelite. And it is one that I plan on coming back to soon enough, when the backlog dies down a little and I actually have time on my hands to dedicate to it. So Hades 2, you're getting the pass for now, because I believe you have a lot to offer me behind those aesthetically pleasing ancient gods and smooth gameplay. I just gotta approach it a different time. Alright, it's been long enough. Pizza time! New Super Mario Bros. 2! Yuck. Okay, it's not a bad game, but it's the weakest game on what was already Mario's weakest series of games. And with this completion, I have now finished all new Super Mario Bros. Games, and I can also tell you which one I'm never coming back to. It's this one. Why would I ever play this again? Unless I was stranded in an island with my only option for a 2D Mario game was New Super Mario Bros. 2 on the Nintendo 3DS, I wouldn't play this game, and honestly, you shouldn't either. There's nothing you're missing out on by skipping this one. If you have access to a Switch, just play New Soup U, or better yet, just play Wonder if you somehow haven't. That's the superior game by a wide margin. Back into the world of Nintendo Switch 2, a game with a title as big as my liking for it, Kirby and the Forgotten Land Nintendo Switch 2 Edition plus Star Crossed the World. That's my way of saying I like the game a lot. I skipped on Forgotten Land back when it was released in 2022. Must have been busy logging in another 200 hours on Splatoon 2 before Splatoon 3 came out. Big mistake though. This is a fantastic 3D platformer that stands toe-to-toe with some of the best out there in the genre. I'd go as far as to say it's a better game than 3D Land. Sorry, not sorry. I am kinda happy I waited until Switch 2 to finally give this one a chance, because looking back at it now, playing a platformer like this at 30 FPS on the original Switch might have harmed my liking for the game by a considerable amount. 3D platformers are just better experienced at that smooth 60 frames per second, you know? And this, I think, was the prettiest looking Switch 2 game I've played to date. Those DLC levels with the crystal aesthetic go so hard. This one's definitely worth your playtime. Slime Rancher 2. That is the game I wanted to play so badly since its early access period. I was a massive fan of the original Slime Rancher. I remember playing it on my old childhood laptop where I had to turn all the graphics settings as low as they'd go, lower the resolution to 480p, and I barely managed 30 FPS. But oh my god, it was all worth it back then, and that magic was mostly recaptured in Slime Rancher 2. The game looks really pretty now with all these reflective surfaces and more detailed slimes and a gorgeous saturated cartoony art style. Oh yeah, alright, I should probably explain a bit of what this one's about. I don't think many people would be too familiar with ranching slimes. It's essentially an adventure and open world exploration game disguised as a cozy farming sim. Or rather, it is a cozy farming sim if you want it to be, but it's also got this amazing adventure aspect to it. You can go out into these open world zones, finding new slimes to bring back to your ranch, platforming along, collecting special upgrades and cosmetics for your ranch, and then when you're done adventuring, you come back home to take care of your little slime buddies and sell their shit for profit on the slime stock market. What? Yeah, you kinda abuse the little guys for profit a lot as you design a fully automated optimized ranch that prioritizes money making above anything else. Or you could, you know, take good care of them and make your ranch look cute. Whatever floats your boat. Slime Rancher 2 is a lot better than a pizza. Yes, we've got another 3DS game, and this time it's Mario Kart 7. I see no good reason to return to this game. I'm sorry, I finished all cups in first place on 150cc, unlocked the characters, rolled credits. It's a good Mario Kart game, but out of all the titles in the franchise, this one feels the most lifeless. The online modes are gone, it doesn't have its own graphical identity, feeling very bland in its menus, and even its art style feels more like an underpowered version of Mario Kart 8 than its own thing. You also have less racers per race and a minuscule amount of tracks compared to its successor, which also still has an active online community. Honestly, it's a good enough game, but I wouldn't mind never playing it again, as there's nothing really here that hasn't been done better elsewhere. I might be taking a slice over this one. Now we're finally reaching the end of 2025, and I still got 3 more titles I've beat to go through, but before those, I wanted to go through a little highlight reel of games that didn't quite make the list. Not because they're better or worse than a pizza, actually it's because all of them are a lot better than a pizza. These are the titles that I've replayed and revisited in 2025. I may have beaten them for the 2nd time, or 3rd time, or 8th time sometimes, so maybe... yeah, here are the games I just couldn't leave behind. Celeste, 2nd time beating it, 1st time 100%ing it. Cuphead, 2nd time going through it, game's as fun as ever. Super Mario Bros. Wonder, 3rd time 100%ing the game, what an amazing return to form for 2D Mario. Hollow Knight. Honestly, I've lost count how many times I beat this game, but add like 3 more to the pile this year as I collected every achievement on Steam. Enter the Gungeon. 3rd time killing my past, a game I first played in 2016. That's almost a decade ago. Still follows me to this day as my favorite roguelite. Super Mario Galaxy 2. My favorite ever 2D Mario, and I just had to beat it on Wii U once again this year, and then buy it on Switch 2 again, and now I'm 100%ing it for the 2nd time this year in 4K. Nintendo, I hate you for this, but damn it, is it one of the best games ever made? It just is. There we have it. Returning titles out of the way, let's talk about another game to receive 100% completion this year. A smaller, free Steam title. Awaria. If you know Helltaker, the game where you go through hell talking to demon girls, yeah, this is another game by that developer. And it's similar in structure to a degree. You get a short campaign of 13 levels which can become very difficult by the end. It took me a solid hour and a half to beat the final boss on hard mode. You essentially have these little rooms with generators that continuously break down, as well as the materials needed to fix them. Some are easy to get, and some require more thought. You bring those materials to the generators to fix them up and go to the next level. Oh, yeah, and there's ghost girls trying to kill you while you do it. The game's got some fan service, let's say, but it doesn't really lean overly hard on it, and it doesn't take itself seriously at all. There's a great time to be had here if you're looking for a challenge, or if you like Ghost Woman, there's something for you there too. Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment is the reason why this channel only has 1 video this December, and why it's the one you're watching now. I have feelings about this game. I am a certified Zelda fan, but I'm also a certified Tears of the Kingdom skeptic. And I know, it's trendy to be that way nowadays, but I was there when this place was nothing but nature and trees and crap. This channel started by critiquing Tears of the Kingdom, and now I'm sitting on a 15-page script for a massive Hyrule Warriors video, which I have been working on for 3 weeks now. And it's not going to make this year, so we're here now. I'm taking the pizza, by the way. We finally arrived. The final game I finished this year, and it is Kirby Air Riders. I actually have a bit of a funny story with this one. I pre-ordered the game only to have my order miss release week by a month. I only got it on December 15th, that's not too long ago. I kinda rushed the completion of the little single player mode so I could roll credits and be able to include it in this video. And so far, my feelings are a bit mixed, but more positive than negative. I played mostly City Trial Online so far, and that is where the game truly shines, isn't it? A hectic multiplayer experience with friends. But I'm still learning the game, and for a control scheme proud to use only 2 buttons, this game is a lot more difficult to play than it would seem. I like it so far. I need more time with its online modes to give a more final verdict, but I don't think I'm having any more pizza tonight. I am officially full. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you're here before the holidays, happy holidays and a happy New Year's too. Thank you to everyone who's been following this channel in 2025 and onwards to 2026. Expect that big Hyrule Warriors video to come out sometime in early January. I gotta stop letting scope creep make these videos so huge. This one is a lot bigger than I thought it would be as well, but it's fun to write big discussions on games, isn't it? I'm sure some people will get it, although I'm not so certain if I should focus on smaller 10-minute videos maybe once a week or so, or attempt some wilder projects that may take me a month. Whatever the case may be, I'll be here making stuff for yet another year of content ahead. 2026 is a promising year for games, and Switch 2 especially. We're getting a FromSoft exclusive next year, guys. That's kinda insane. Anyways, have a wonderful day. Goodbye!